Hey, I am Mustafa Sharif. Thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica podcast. I'm looking forward this episode. Super interesting story. We're gonna get so much inspired by this guy. A lot of things to share, a lot of things to learn, and I would like to highlight that here in Urbanistica we are not related to any political party, and this episode is more to share the story. I have the pleasure to welcome you, Omar, to Urbanistica podcast. Hey, and welcome.
Thank you very much. Hey, I'm really excited to be talking to you.
Me too. How are you doing, Omar?
I'm doing awesome. Life is good right now. Under the circumstances of quarantine and COVID-19, I'm enjoying the time of being home with the people I love.
Nice. And I would love to tell you welcome back to Sweden and also a happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm really excited about being 25 years old. I've been looking toward that 25 years.
Yes. So it's need a big celebration, right?
It's the best celebration.
Well, Omar, you are our storyteller for this episode. So how would you like to introduce yourself? And please tell us, what are you passionate about?
I am just an Omar of this many Omars on this planet. I'm a survivor from detention centers in Syria where people die of torture and starvation. And I'm working as a director of detainee affairs at the Syrian Emergency Task Force. But I am a happy young man, excited, and enjoying my life as much as possible, surrounded with awesome friends, and I'm passionate the most about liberating those political prisoners who are in Syria and outside Syria, but focusing on Syria right now.
And Omar, I am following you on the different platforms, and I was listening live to you when you had your TED talk. Super interesting. So I would love that you start with the powerful story, the University of Wisdom. What is it about?
I've been detained 7 different times in early age. When I was 15 years old, I was arrested for the first time. Then I've been released, then arrested again, released again, until the seventh time when I was 17 years old. I ended up in prison and I spent 3 years in 10 different prisons. So they transport me from prison to the other prison so nobody knows where I am. And I was detained as a kid. 17 years old is not big man, is not strong, wise man at that age. I've been detained and I was tortured. And because of torture, I was forced to say that I killed officers because they want me to say that I killed officers and I had weapons. Even if I didn't do that, I was forced to give this false confession to just to make them stop torturing me because the pain was breaking me. So I said I killed, and um, I ended up at 3 years in prison. And during this time, we had 4 hours sleep, 4 hours torture, 4 hours to spend on eating your food, going to the bathroom. Then you had the rest of the time sitting in a tiny cells with a lot of people, and the walls are not walls. The walls are human walls. So the walls around you, you're surrounded with a lot of people sitting in a small squares. This squares is just the place you're sitting on. There's like some lines you can see. You can't feel it, but you can just see these lines, and you see, and that's your square, 40 centimeter by 40 centimeter square. You're sitting in it, and there's all those people around you. If you are a big man, you can't sit in this square because there's not enough space. If you want to sit, you have to force other people to stand up. So 50% of the people in the room standing up, the rest are sitting down, and we switch 4 hours, 4 hours. And they have to go to the bathroom. When the way to the bathroom was 35 meters to the right, to the left, you have guards who torture you, and it's painful. A lot of people go to the bathroom once, they never get back because they die on their way to the bathroom. I'm not talking you going in an adventure, going to the Himalaya or going to the Alp mountains. You just going to the bathroom and you die because how dangerous it is. So I spent those years, and in the beginning in prison, you're scared. You don't talk to anybody because you think everybody may be a spy or everybody might want to hurt you for a reason. So you don't speak. But one day when I got back from the torture floor after hours of pain and blood and you know, being in real hurt, I got back to my cell, and the person next to me knocked on my shoulder and said, "Hi, I am a doctor. I would like just to tell you how you can take off your wounds." and so you don't get infection in your wounds. It's important so you can survive a longer time. So this person next to me teach me how to take care of my wounds, and I just switched to the other side where it was an engineer who told me, look, I'm engineer, what do you think about talking about a little bit of how can we in the best way rebuild this prison, and what can we make of this prison, a museum, a hospital, whatever, and talk about how to rebuild this prison. And you talk for 1 hour there, then you switch your head in front of you, and there's a psychologist talking with you about how to adapt to this situation in prison, how to enjoy the moments you have, how to feel home in a prison. And you talk about it for 1 hour, you switch to the other side, which is there you find an economic who told you how can we share our food in the best way so we can establish justice here. And the other guy there is a lawyer who talking about how to build a dictator-free prison here, because there is always prisoners who are gonna be like dictators, who want to take other people's food, who want to survive a longer time so they can do brutalities to survive. And how we can make our prisoner free from that. And there is a teacher on this side telling you how to share all this knowledge, and you sitting with this all well-educated people who's just offering everything to share their knowledge, because the knowledge they have right now is useful here in prison, and we can use it to survive, which is different in our free world outside. If you go outside, you study something and you don't use it in your life. And you can't see a doctor, engineer, lawyer, teacher sitting at the same table. It's really rare. And in prison, all of them, all those people were sitting together. I was 17 years old, so automatically they focused on me. They want to educate me because I'm younger, because I will survive longer time, because my body can easily adapt to the situation. My brain is more adaptable, capable to survive than their bodies or their brain or their mentality. Um, so they focused on me in case they die, their knowledge still with me. So when those people died, their hope was that I will have their souls inside of me. And that's what I'm trying to do today by my work, working so hard to liberate those people who are still in these prisons, because they are great people. They have the ability to build a country, to create a great system, because we established more justice in prison than what I experienced outside prison in our prisoners community. Not if you don't involve the guard in that. We established more justice. We shared the food equally between each other, even if some of us were stronger than the others. We Those who were sick, we protected them in the torture. I put my body over somebody else's body if he is sick, so I get the torture instant for him. He will do it for me when I'm tired. The same thing with food. When I was too hungry, will die if I don't eat extra food than the small potato I get every day. Those people offer me food, say, Omar, you deserve to eat. You helped us before. Now you deserve to survive. Take this food and eat it. And I survived. Those people offered their life, their food, their water to me. And I offer them as much as possible. What about now? Today, I'm outside having this fancy life. I have at least to spend to use my voice, my abilities, my social media, my time for those people. They offered their life to save me. I should at least offer what I have today.
I'm very appreciating that you give your time to talk about this topic and share your feelings with us.
I'm really happy to share that, because they told me before I get out of prison. They weren't expecting me to get out of prison, but they told me from time to time, Omar, if you survive, talk about us. Don't forget us. And by telling you and your audience, I'm just exactly doing what they asked me for, and they deserve a voice.
From the room in the prison, how big was the size? How many people were in this room?
I was in many different prisons and many different rooms, more than what I counted at that time. But in the beginning, I was in an isolation room for myself, where you sit in a small 1 meter by 1 meter room, and you sit there and you are silent. You're not allowed to speak. You're not allowed to scream. You're not allowed to do anything. You sleep there next to the mouse. That mouse that comes to share your food when they give you some food. In the first 10 days, you don't eat, because the food you eat from you ate 10 days ago from your mom is awesome food, and you come here to eat some bread with some blood mixed with some yogurt and some, some hair and some other parts of somebody's bodies, the skin, and you don't enjoy this food. You don't see it as
You
you
don't
don't
eat
see it
it.
eatable.
You don't even call it a food.
You don't call it food, so you don't eat it. So the mouse enjoy it a lot. So you see the mouse coming inside your cell, and I was scared because I grow up. My mother told me that if you do something wrong while you're sleeping, the mouse gonna come and eat your ears. So I was in my cell, and this 10 days I got to be in my cell 4 hours a day, then 16 hours or more was like to go in the corridor and get torture and interrogation. And I they tie your hands behind your back, and you can see a little bit. You have blindfold, blindfolder, but you can see a little bit, see from this side, so you see the mouse. And I don't really wanna sleep because I'm scared the mouse gonna eat my ears, because I was 17 at that time, and I'm scared from everything, torture. And I start to feel a relationship with this mouse because it was the only thing I could see. The only thing wasn't hurting me yet. The guards outside taking me, hurting me. My cousins was tortured next to me. They were forced to torture me. I was forced to torture them, and I wasn't enjoying anything. This mouse come to entertain me at that time. I remember, and every day when I enter the cell, you know, what if 1 hour later, around 8 in the morning, they give us the food, and the mouse come exactly because my cell was the last one in the corridor, and they put the food first in my mouse, in my they put the food first in my cell, and the mouse will be waiting for that. And every day until I start to create relationship with him, and automatically when I get my food, I get the biggest part, give it to the mouse because I'm not gonna eat and give it, and he just eat it next to me. He won't be scared of me. And I just start like, if one day he didn't come, I was like, "Where's the mouse?" I just get back. I'm not really sleeping because I'm scared the guard might come anytime. And then that day number 10, the guard came in the breakfast time, and the mouse was excited to get the food, but the guard opened the door without food, and the mouse got scared. He tried to run away, and the guard took his foot up and smashed the mouse. And it wasn't just the mouse dying under the guard feet. It was I was seeing myself smashed in the same way. It was hope, the only joyful moment I have at that time. The only thing trying to remind me of a normal life at that time was that mouse, and he died under this guard feet. And I could die in the same way. That made me fear them much more than what I feared them before. And then they took me to torture floor, and then they put me in a room with my cousins who we've been well tortured. Then they took me to my village because they forced me to say I killed, and if you killed, that means you had a weapon. They forced me to say I had a weapon. Where is your weapon? Well, my weapon it's somewhere there. They take me to show them the weapon, which I don't have, which they didn't exist. But I was forced to say that because they want you to say that. And they dig in the ground to take the weapon up. There is no weapon. They put me in this hole, and they threw the dirt over me. They want to bury me alive. And the dirt coming up until my chest, and I'm like difficulties breathing because when they threw the dirt over you, it's coming in my eyes and coming in my nose and my mouth. I'm coughing. The dirt cover comes to my neck. I can't breathe anymore because there is enough dirt in my mouth, and I can't see. I just like in the beginning I was worried like they won't do it, they won't bury me alive. And I thought just like I was worried, oh, the dirt is coming in my hair. It's gonna be difficult to clean. That was my first thought. But when the dirt came up to my neck and it's like coming and it felt really serious, I'm gonna die. And it comes, close my mouth. It's when they take the dirt off of my face and I can't breathe again. How long time they take? Did they take before they do it? I don't know. But it felt like I've been dead for a while, and they take the dirt off and I'm alive again. and they take me back to prison. And my cousin see the dirt in my eyes and my head, and he said, Omar, what happened? And I said, I just knew how bad this experience gonna be. I won't tell you. That won't make you feel better if you know what happened to me. So we better shut up and live this life and try to die as soon as possible with the less hurt, pain as possible. They transferred us to different prison again and again and again. And it ended up in 215, a branch called 215. That has a different name called the branch, the prison of the slow death. So you die slowly but brutally. And just being in this place with this name, the prison of the slow death, as torture. That's the name of prison. Being there is torture. Then you have all the kind of physical torture, mental torture you see every day, in addition to starvation. And people don't really understand what they guess like physical torture is the worst, which is not, because 1 year of starvation is billion times worse than pain, physical pain, torture, pulling out your fingernails or burning your body with cigarettes, or forcing you to just pull out your beard or your hair with your hands, is not as hurtful as when starvation makes brother kill his twin brother. You know, when you see a dad killing his son to eat his potato, you know, this is the real pain. It's not about pulling out your fingernails. It's not about the physical pain, because that's something your body is amazing. It's fantastic, it's strong, will adapt to everything. Your skin will adapt to the pain so you don't feel it anymore. They hit you once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then you lose your feelings. You didn't feel it anymore. Same thing with every part of your body. When they broke your bones, you will feel the pain, but then it will, held again. Then you are strong again. You will either die or not feel the pain. But when it comes to the mental torture, psychological torture, it's the thing that you can't adapt to. You have to find a technique. You have to find the survival mechanism that fit the situation to use to be able to adapt to this mental torture, to use it, to make it like a drive force, which is not easy. That's why the highest number of people die. They don't survive. The survivors of those prisons, I don't know any survivor from branch 215. Nobody. I know nobody who been there for a year and survived. Maybe there is some, but I didn't, discover them yet, but I didn't know anybody. So you talk about a prison was like you have 10,000 people. You have 50 people at least who dies every day, and they replace them with 50 new people. So they are 10,000, they stay 10,000, because those who dies, they replace them with the same number. And a lot of people died. I number the dead bodies. So every person, if you go in Google and you write Caesar files, you will find 55,000 pictures of dead bodies. Those dead bodies, you can see in their forehead a number. This number, there is a slash between the numbers. There's number either 215 or 251, number of branches, the prisons. Every prison has a number. And the registration number of this person who died. If I die first, my number is 1. If you die second, your number is 2. The same thing. And I number thousands of people. I was working in the death room. So I go every day to the room where we have 50 dead bodies. And I have to look at these dead bodies and write the numbers on their forehead. As 17, 18 years old, who should be in the high school studying math and physics and art and music. No, I was numbering the dead bodies, living with dead bodies every day, and carry these dead bodies to the first floor. They torture me in the process. I get back to my room. People who knows that I was working in that room, they say, Omar, please, if I die, can you give me a good number? So now we had 5,554. Can you please, if I die, give me the 5,555 because it's a cool number, the last cool thing I'm gonna have in my life, you know? And people's brains was like blown up, and they don't know what to think about, what to enjoy anymore. They even want to have good number when they die. No, that was their wish. It's not like their wish is, please do something. Don't don't let anybody treat my body badly when I die. No, no, no. Give me a good number when I die, so people can remember me from my number. Everyone in prison wants to be remembered as good as possible, want to be remembered as good people, and they were, all of them who died around me with me was amazing people who offered their life to save other people's lives.
Yeah,
Stories should be heard, stories should be told all the time. We have to give voice for the voiceless people inside these detention centers. It's our responsibility. It's not only my responsibility as a survivor from there, as a Syrian. It's your responsibility because it's a world crisis. Everybody is responsible for, because your silence is the reason they are there. Your silence is the reason your government is not moving, and the world is responsible for letting such dictators be in power, because there's agreements in this world about protecting human rights. Human rights, it's nothing you just practice in Sweden, because when you talk about human rights, you talk about something international, because those who live in Syria, in Iraq, in China, in Afghanistan, in the US, wherever, they are human. So when you talk about human rights, you have to protect everybody. You have to practice that for everybody. Otherwise, call it Swedish rights, Swedish people's rights instead for human rights. So if you say human, you mean everybody, but you're not doing for it. You're not doing it for everybody. Like in the US, care about the US citizens. The same thing. The Sweden cares about the Swedish citizens. That's not human rights. That's Swedish people's rights, American people's rights. So let's practice those words we've been using for a while. There's no democracy in this world at all. What we have is countries which are more democratic than other countries. Sweden is more democratic than Syria. But Sweden is not a democratic country, unfortunately. Could be much better.
yes. And Omar, tell me about the justice that you, together with the, what should I call them, that you create in this little room. Tell me about the food sharing that you were sharing and people were dying in order that you survive, giving their food to you. How was it?
So you are in a room with 35 people. The guard entered that room and they give you five potatoes, five big potatoes. And how to share five potatoes with 35 people? You didn't have a knife. You didn't have any material. You're naked. There is nothing to use in this room except your hands. So we decide to have one prisoner who shared this 10 potatoes into 35 pieces. And this person have a person behind him who doesn't see the potatoes, the 35 pieces of potatoes he made. And this person who made this, potatoes apart, take one and ask the person behind him, who is this potatoes for? This person behind doesn't see these potatoes, because if he sees, maybe he will get, if he sees it is bigger, he will give it to his friend or take it himself. So he can't see it. So he say, give it to number one. And this potato will go to number one. And who is this for? Give it to number three. Give it to me. He take it, So nobody knows what they're getting, and there's nobody deciding who is getting what. So we're trying to make it adjust, because you want to make them as similar as possible, because one of them gonna be yours, right? And you won't decide which one gonna be yours, so you make it as good as possible. That's just an easy example of talking about justice and protecting human rights inside their prison. The other thing is when our young, strong prisoners offer their bodies to put it over the elderly people to protect them, and in return, in exchange, those elderly people give us their knowledge, their experience in life. and what they learned in universities, what they learned in life, of marriage, of friendships, of this difficulty they went through in their life. And we have like exchange. So I give you something, you give me something in return. Not because I'm expecting you to give me something in return. No, but because you are a good person. Not because it's it's traditional that the traditions we follow. No, you're not ordered to follow any rules in prison because you are in a different society. Prison is exactly the same as the society we are outside now in, but it's much smaller. Everything is smaller, and you practice your life normal. You have torture, you have pain, you have mental torture, but then after 1 2 years in prison, you get back to this normal life in the principle. You get back in a normal life, try to share food, try to create relationship, people you care about, people you don't like, people you like a lot. This person you feel happy by looking at, this person you don't feel happy by looking at. It's normal. You have a drama as well. You experience a drama when there is this prisoner who only want to protect me because he like me. I like this guy. I want to protect him, and not other guy because he's just, I don't like him. I don't feel comfortable with this guy. And they open a discussion why he like this guy. It's not nice of him to like this guy. A lot of blah 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 all the time. Could be a lot of drama. Like we isolated in the prison. Do you know what we did? We thought engineers were so boring people because of one reason. We had a law between us prisoners that we won't talk about outside. You won't talk about freedom, you won't talk about family, because if you talk about it, you mentally will be tired, will be sad, will cry, will die. But if you think about your family, you die quickly, quicker than what you can imagine. Take you 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, then you die because you can't stop thinking about them. You stop eating, you stop drinking, you die. They torture you, you die. And we decided nobody's allowed to speak about freedom or outside of family. Everybody follow these rules. All other prisoners, psychologists, doctors, engineers, lawyers, engineers. We're talking about rebuilding prison. To rebuild the prison, you need to get outside the prison to be free to be able to rebuild it, right? Which means freedom. It includes freedom, family, life, which was not allowed at that time in our law in this prison. So we decided, all other prisoners, we decided to collect all these engineers, put them in the corner of the room, and let them just talk about whatever they want, and they will die. Psychologically, will die very soon because they talk about getting out, rebuilding, and it's just like too hurtful for the heart and the brain. And then we isolate these people, and there is something special, when it's like celebration days, it's Christmas or it's Eid al-Fitr or it is, special day somewhere, the New Year. You get hope. Hope get back inside you, and you think about your family, you think about your friends, you think about celebrating this nice days with people, and then in these specific days you're allowed to talk about family. You get some hope. You will be released at that days. You will be out with your family. Those days are over. Few days after, you don't get food because the guard is hungry because he didn't get a vacation to go to his family. They stop giving you food and you suffer. And mentally, you just feel this celebration was the worst in your life, and you will never be able to meet your family. You stop eating, you stop drinking, you die. People, everybody die. Everybody from all kind of people, doesn't matter your background, you die, except those who are in the corner, the engineers, because those guys, they've always been talking about getting out of prison, and their brain being free all the time. They adapted to having a free brain inside their prison, talking about outside and creating something new. Other prisoners was talking about just living here in prison and not having hope at all. So this small hope those engineers had, this small conversation that they had, gave them energy, gave them power, gave them the strength to survive, which made us later, when I noticed that, I've been in prison for a while, so I'm a very senior prisoner. So other prisoners respect what I think. So I had suggestion that we have to take all these engineers and try in every circle, every 5 6 prisoners, we have to put an engineer. And every five, because we have high number of engineers in prison, and we said every single bit of engineer. So this engineer can talk about rebuilding this prison or talk about help in a more educational way of speaking about it, not just talk about family, missing family, but it's talk about hope in a different way. And by doing that, believe it or not, we reduce the number of deaths. Less people die because you have this number who dies 25, 30 who dies of torture, then you have the other who dies of sicknesses and mental, they can't make it mentally, they die. This number gets reduced, we get less people who dies at that days, thanks thanks to what we did of replacing, remaking this circles and sharing this knowledge, all kind of knowledge. We were not allowed to speak in prison, so we whispered with each other. That's why I called it at that time the University of Whispers. You said the University of Wisdoms, which sounds as good as the Whispers. But it was University of Whispers for us. I taught myself a lot. Even I used to love being in these circles. I used to feel home in prison after a while. Like I spent 3 years in age of having creating your own personality, 17 years old, in time where your voice will be different, deeper voice as a man. At that time, where I was like, I didn't know how my voice sounded like because I was not allowed to speak. So in 3 years, I didn't hear my voice. I didn't know how it was like. So then I would get out of prison and hear my voice for the first time, talking in front of the mirror, looking at myself in the mirror for the first time after 3 years. Can you see the difference, Omar? Yes, I can, because I was 34 kilos, 74 pounds, 20, 21 years old man. Just 34 kilos was nothing. I was really skinny, blood. You could see blood in my eyes, my ears, my nose, my teeth. And I looked bad. I looked sad. I looked weak. And that could, just only looking at myself at the mirror was strong and hard enough to break me at that time. But from day to day, I was standing in front of this mirror and looking at myself sad until I decided to speak nicely with this guy in the mirror. So I was like, wake up, go to this mirror. Oh man, you're looking better today. You're getting one extra hair here. And it's like your teeth is getting cleaner, the blood is not visible anymore, and you're getting a little bit more, you get some beard here, some beard here. And look at myself talking better and start to see the difference from day to day. And I had to follow this strategy of being, call it crazy, whatever. I enjoyed doing that, talking really good with myself in the mirror until I start to feel beautiful. So I started to feel good again, and then it's when my life get back to not get back or get new actually, and become the person, the resilient person I feel I am today, and the happy person I am today because years in prison gave me gave me the personality I wish to have, the strength I wish to have, the knowledge, the experience, the education I missed in the high school. I get better in education than that in the University of Whispers. Prison protected me because while I was in prison, they attacked my village. They killed my dad and my brothers and my cousins. A lot of my cousins died. The massacre in my village on the 2nd of May 2013. But I was in prison. So prison saved my life. Otherwise, I would be dead. Prison made me alive, and I had to flee to Turkey, from Turkey to Europe to get treatment. And the first country that gave me medical treatment was Sweden. And that's why I live in Sweden today. Sweden gave me home, it gave me a family. I met my Swedish family in the hospital. I met Jacob, Funny, and Sally in the hospital. Uh, Jacob Jacob just came and sat next to me and said, "How are you?" I was like, "Could not speak English, neither Swedish," and he just got his Google Translator and spoke to me through Google Translator. That was fun. And the Swedish man was taking initiative because I just been here for 10 days in Sweden, and my first friend just got and sat next to me talking to me. He asked me, "Do you want to be friend on Facebook?" I said, "Sure." Became friends on Facebook, and he introduced me to his family and his mom. They invited me to their summer house where it was around Christmas time, and we become friends. They invited me and my little brother, who traveled with me from Turkey to Europe, to move and to live with them. And we lived with them. That made me the gave me the opportunity to speak good Swedish, to start learning English, and that was 4 years ago. And my life changed a lot thanks to prison. Prison gave me this opportunity to be living in a different country, learning new 2, 3 languages, and go to the US and around in Europe to advocate, to work hard for those prisoners who are suffering today, tell their stories, be a voice for the voiceless Syrians, the voiceless prisoners, those who are going through hell today, who have hope that there is somebody fighting for them.
Omar, what made you stay alive? Which mindset you had in the prison that kept you alive and still have hope to get back to your village?
Three rules to survive: forget your family, care about your food, which means you have to fight because there's people who will kill you to eat your food. It's starvation war. It's war for food. Third thing is hope or faith. Have a slash between them. If you're religious person, take faith. If you're not, take hope. Doesn't matter what you call it. It's when you imagine, when you create something in your head. The more pain you get, the more rewards gonna have later. The more they hit you, the more you're gonna get. Reward, if you're religious, take it. Your afterlife. In your afterlife, you're gonna have a big house, good trees, nice everything. And if you're not religious, take it. You will be released and you will get back to a new life. So for me, I am both. Take both sides. I'm now getting reward for everything I went through. I now get reward for everything. I get instead of one family, I got three families. I have my Swedish family. I met here in Sweden. I got my Norwegian family. I have my American family. I have my biological family as well. So I'm getting reward for everything. I had the opportunity to travel around the world, to meet new people, to be able to speak to you today. Having using this technology of having laptops and iPhone and cameras, all this technology, it's reward for me. Being able to be in the city, having nicer view, it's sunny outside, it's beautiful. It's reward. And if I die, go to my afterlife, I will have a lot of reward, man. I get a lot of belts and torture in my body and lost my nails, and they cut my hair and they tortured me in my eyes, my mouth. All of that I'm gonna get reward for. That's a lot of reward. But 3 years of torture on a daily basis is a lot of reward. I'm really excited.
Yeah. And Omar, let's talk in these 3 years, let's talk about the architecture of the prison. Was there any lighting, windows, ventilation in the room that you were staying at? And what are the other rooms that you were allowed to visit?
I was 2 years under the ground. No windows, no normal air coming, um, dark. There was light in the corridor, but this light is not good enough to give you light inside your room. It's kind of dark inside that you still can see the people, but you don't see them clearly. Um, Dark. It's silence. You can hear every when the guard sometimes whisper, you can hear it. When the if the guard cough, it's like a bomb coming on the building because it's only just naked people inside. There's no furniture. There is no other, and everybody is silent. So when the guards say any word, the whole prison hear it. You know, 2 years in the ground before they take me to transfer me to the last prison, Sinai prison, the worst place on this planet, on all planets actually. And Sinai prison, I was for the first 10, 11 days in the ground, but then they took me to the third floor, which is exactly the same because you don't see light neither because the prison is built in a way. Even if it's very sunny, the sun will never enter this prison. The light will have difficulties to even enter this prison because it's built, and the structure of this prison is made to make people suffer more. So the building is made so you don't get the sunlight, because the sunlight will make it easier for your wounds to handle the sun. Make you stronger. It's vitamin D, which you don't have in prison for years at all, and the darkness, the echo, the sounds around, the everything around you. There is no materials outside. It's just empty room, ceiling, the walls, the ground. The ground, is built this way. So if they threw water, the water will be collected in the middle, and they put you on it. So they put electricity in the water, and everybody gets shot. And in this way, so they sometimes come to you with tea. They give you tea sometimes for torture. The tea you drink, they come with like burning tea, cooked tea, and they threw it on your body to burn your body. And this tea got back to the middle of the room where your blood is, where your, when you, it's your skin, all of that's collected in the middle. Then the tea comes there, and you forced to have, just something like a shirt, but to put it over the tea to make it. Then you have it over a cup. Then you have to drink this tea. You're forced to, and everything is made to make you feel more pain. Even when you have some, ceramic in the walls, because sometimes they will force you to shave your head, and you have to go. They come to you and say, "I will come back. You won't have hair." Yeah, but they don't give you any materials to shave your head, so you have to go and break this ceramic and shave your head with this ceramic, which is not nice at all. It's hurtful, and you open your own scars in your head when you're just trying to shave it. Well, your beard you could just adapt to pull it out with your hand, but your hair is sitting really strong in your head. For a lot of people, you're already in prison because you don't have enough food. Your hair, a lot of your hair fall down. It's like when you eat, medicine for chemo for cancer. Your hair fall is the same thing, but you still have some. You have to shave. The guards were brutal people.
So, Omar, what we see in the movies, there is a library, there is a workshop place, there is a basketball field. Tell me, what are the other function or activities you could do there?
Yeah, what you can do is you sitting in your room. You have 40 centimeter by 40 centimeter square. You can sit down. You can stand up. Easy busy. That's it. There
That's
is
it.
no outs. Yeah, that's it. You don't see the sunlight. You don't go outside. The only walk you have is when you go to the bathroom. And when you go to the bathroom, you have guard to the right, to the left, torturing you in the hallway. Then you sit in the bathroom. There's a guard who counts one, two. You have 10 seconds. Your body will later adapt to be just you do everything in 10 seconds. Then you get back to your room. You sit for 4 hours. You stand up for 4 hours to allow other people to sit down. You have to stand up in 3 years. That's it.
And tell me that the bathroom, the facility, like what did you had there? Water, sanitation, and so on.
There is The bathroom is 4 bathrooms for 3,000 people. There's just hole in the ground. That's it. And there's nothing more. There's a guard outside counting.
Yeah, and when you come back, you told me that it's 4 hour you stand, 4 hour you sit down. When are you? How do you sleep?
You sleep sitting down. There is no more than so. I was shocked when I just ended this prison, seeing people sitting down, and it was it's dark all the time, but you say, it's supposed to be night now. They won't take us to bed or something? And people laugh at me. It's like your question now. It's like, man, you're fun. You're really fun, man. It's like you're gonna be sleeping sitting down. The thing is, it's not only sitting down, because when you sit, you're sitting on your feet. You're not sitting on your butt. You don't have place to just place your feet and your your back together on the ground. It's only your feet. You're sitting on your feet.
It's just like the picture, like your picture.
Exactly the picture. You're gonna have it as a cover. Exactly. That's how it is. That's how you sleep. That's how you wake. That's how you sit. That's how you eat. That's
But
how it is.
Tell me, how did you make it out? How did you survive?
Thanks to those people who supported me, those people who saved me, those people who cared about me, who saw hope in me, who believed in me and said to me, Omar, you're gonna be a leader. And it was like the first time I hear it, like you're gonna be a leader. You don't wanna laugh in front of them, and you don't want them to say it loudly so other people don't laugh at you. Leader, the youngest prisoner at that time. Leader, what? Leader, what? I'm gonna be, And those people said like, you're gonna be a leader. You're gonna save people's lives. Until I start to take responsibilities, try to believe in myself and do things, and not only wait to die, but do something to survive. Uh, and later, when I start to survive longer time, I decided to do something to save lives in prison.
So, Omar, how did you make it outside from the prison? Did you run away or what happened?
On a Tuesday, on the 9th of June 2015, the guard entered the corridor and he says, Omar, I was inside Nab prison where we knew that they say your name while they're gonna execute you and they're gonna kill you. Um, and it's like, now I'm gonna die. And I've been kind of waiting for this moment for a while, but I want to die as soon as possible. I don't want to feel the pain. I want it to be just like blank poo, and you die. And it was exactly the opposite of that. They take me, they put me in a room. And this room is a big room for 48 hours. And every single hour, when the watch of the guard beep, he comes and asks me a question. How do you want me to kill you? Be creative. Answer this question with creativity. So don't tell me, shoot me. It's not creative. Everybody know about it. I want something creative. So I had to think about ways those guards can kill me while they enjoy killing me. And I gave answers to all these questions. And after 48 hours, they came and they pulled me out. And they took me. I could feel that I was in a car, bus, on my way somewhere, blindfold, my hands tied behind my back. They take me, they put me in the ground, my head is in the ground, and there's an officer walking behind me. I can feel he's a powerful man because it's silence behind him, and he's moving slowly, and he's talking shit, and then he says, aim. And you see this, you hear these guns. When it's just, let's say, load, and it's they louding these guns behind you. You try to count how many guns are standing behind you. How many people are coming just to kill me? Do they think that I'm strong enough to run away? Do they think that I'm strong enough to fight them at a 34 kilos, 20 years old, sick man of torture, pain, of sicknesses in prison? Why so many? And I thought that maybe we're filming that, recording this execution. And he said, load, aim, and yourself, you can imagine how long time it takes, how slow the time goes. And he said, shoot, poof. And the reward started, I die, I go to my afterlife, and I start getting reward. And I go to my beautiful place, the good place where everything is great. They shoot me, I die. I wake up in my afterlife. First thing I see is tree. I haven't seen tree in a while. See stone, see color. I see things, beautiful things around. See dirt, touch the dirt with my hands. See stones, see the color green. The sky is blue. I didn't see the sky in a while. I see the sun. It smells different, you know. It smells like life or afterlife. and I never died before. So I don't know what is the difference between die or being alive and you don't know what's going on. So it was my first time to die. So I was kind of excited. It still went quickly, and I didn't feel the what surprised me of dying is it wasn't very hurtful. You know, I died and it's over quickly. You know, it went very quickly. I stand up, see beautiful things. During that, I was looking in the ground when I cry, when I laugh, and I could see my legs, my feet, and I could see the torture marks, the blood coming out of them. And what I learned in my childhood is there's no blood in afterlife, which means when I saw blood, I knew that I was still alive. I didn't think about looking for the place where they shot me because I already had blood in my body of torture and pain, and I didn't think about it. I didn't look where they shot me, you know, and I just stay there. A car, random car. I didn't know anything. Random car stopped behind me. The driver say, "Come in." I sit in the car. The driver say, "Get off in the car." I end up in central Damascus, where I know nothing. There's a lot of people. It looks scary. I don't know anybody. A man pulled me back, give me a phone, says to me, "You look different. You look weird, tired. Do you want to call your family?" I didn't remember my family. That was the challenge, where you want to call somebody who knows you to come and pick you up, but you don't remember people. You don't remember. If you don't remember people, you don't remember phone numbers, right? And this method, I can't help you go and sit next to the mosque or the church. You didn't know if I was Muslim or Christian or anything. Just go sit in front of the mosque or the church, which they are next to each other in central Damascus. And I went there. I was sitting there. I didn't know what to do. I actually wished to go back to prison because the only people I knew, the only people I remember are those my fellow prisoners who were protecting me, helping me, caring about me, giving me love and strength. That's the only people I knew. That's the only people I remember I care about. So I wish to go back in prison before three guys comes and stand in front of me. Could not see well. My eyes have been really affected from seeing the light for the first time. It's like could not see well anymore, but I could see like, you know, lovely three guys coming, and they give me a phone and say, "Call your family." They didn't ask me anything because they could see everything in my face and my body. I've been tortured. They know I've been in prison. They probably not the first time they see a guy like me in this situation. I say I don't have family. I don't remember anybody to call. And they say, "Okay, we can wait here for a few minutes if you want to think, try to remember." And during the process of just like you feeling tired, you hungry, you look here, a phone number is written in my arm here. And I had a phone number written here, and I said, "There's a phone number here, you can call it." And we call this phone number, and she answers. I was writing this phone number in my arm every day in the prison. And I knew whose phone number it was in the first maybe year, but then I kept doing this, writing this phone number after torture because I want to do something with this blood running from out of my blood, of my body. I want to do something useful with, so I write this phone number. Then I forget whose phone number it was. I not remember. I'm not talking about family anymore. I'm not talking about a thing. But you know, we kind of dramatic people. So I thought like it's maybe the phone number of a girl I was in love with or something like that, you know. Because I was arrested young, I was definitely in love with somebody, and I called this phone number, and she answers. She doesn't sound like mom. She's younger, but I don't recognize this voice. And she says, "Hi," and I say, "Hi, it's Omar." That's the only thing I remember. I could not say anything more than I am Omar. And she started crying and said, "Oh, where are you? Stay where you are. I miss you. Stay where you are." I didn't understand. She was talking too fast. I'm not used to hear a voice. I'm used to hear whispers. I can't like take voice. It hurt my head, in the beginning. So it feels it's hurtful. It make it give headache. I can't hear any noises except the God. And she's crying, screaming, excited, but I can't hear that. I don't understand what she's saying. So, but she said, "Stay where you are." I stayed where I was, and the man comes and picked me up. This man hugged me and tell me like, "Do you remember me?" And I was trying to focus as much as possible, and I came with this answer to him: "I never met you in my entire life. It doesn't feel like I'm not remembering you. It feels just like I never met you in my entire life." And he says, "That's okay." He was crying. He takes me and say, "We have to walk for 2 kilometers," which is long. You could not walk 10 steps. And I walked 10, 20 steps, and I fall down in the ground and said, "I can't walk anymore." And he came down to me and whispered in my ears and said, "Omar, you have to walk. You're going to meet your mom." And that empowered me a lot and made me stand up and walk. We end up in a hotel room. He opens the door. Now I'm gonna see my mom. She's not waiting for me. I go inside, look in the room. There's nobody. Get back, stand in front of the bathroom door until she get back. But I've been practicing listening, hearing in years because we were not allowed to see the guards or anything. So I could easily know there's nobody inside the bathroom. A few minutes later, I open the door. There is nobody inside. This man behind me asked me, "What you looking for?" And I said, "Nothing." It felt like he tricked me, this man, thinking you're gonna do something with me, gonna sell my organs. I didn't know. Then he said to me, "You're gonna meet your mom on Skype." And if you've been isolated in 3 years from the world, from the technology, from food, from water, from people, from life, from love, from hate, from everything, you didn't know what Skype is, right? And I sit on the screen exactly like what we're sitting right now. And a lot of people on the other side of the screen, I didn't know anybody of them. Not really. I remember those people very well. And we talked for less than a minute before they end the call. And this man next to me received a WhatsApp voice message, a woman laughing, saying, "Do you think you can trick me with some Photoshop of my son? It's not my son. My son is a handsome boy." And I was like, when she said handsome, oh, that's really me. But I wasn't handsome at that time. So I didn't really understand what's going on. And she mentioned like $20,000. I'm not going to pay for anything like that. I want my real son. And I asked this man $20,000 for what? And he said, "I paid $10,000 to get you outside of prison, and your mom should pay $20,000, double the price to get you from me." And I said, "No, you didn't get me out of prison, didn't release me. I was taken to execution there. I've been shot. I've been killed. I died a billion times in the last 48 hours. And he said, "No, it was just a mock execution. They want to scare you. They want to make you fear them more. And so you don't talk about them. You don't talk to anybody about your story. They wanted to break you." And later, I focused on that. They want to break me. They want to make me silent, to shut me up. So I decided to speak as much as possible. And since I was silent in 3 years, whispers, no talk, I didn't hear my voice. I was really excited about having a deep voice like my father, who was an officer. I decided to speak out loud very much. So until today, I made more than 300 public speeches about different things, including trauma as a driving force, talking about University of Whispers, talking about integration, talking about hope, optimism and everything, and telling my experience, how could we use this our almost nothing resources we had in prison to create a university, how we could care and establish justice in the prison, how I could get out of prison and get back to normal life and enjoy getting back to normal situation, having more space than 40 centimeter by 40 centimeter, being living in a 20-meter square apartment. That's a lot of 40 centimeters by 40 centimeters. That's a lot. How to enjoy all the moments you have in life, how to have a smile when you talk about fun things, and how to have a smile when you talk about brutal things you went through, how to use your power, your experience, your social media to deliver a message to the guard that I won this war. You could not break me in 3 years of physical and psychological torture. I am today here, handsome again, smiling again, working, doing great job, traveling around the world, except the quarantine time right now. And I survived. I made it. Not only survived, I'm thriving today, which is the real win. It's not just surviving. I'm even using my trauma, everything I went through, to make me a stronger person. I'm using it in my daily basis life to help myself and every other person I have around me.
Mm.
Try.
Omar, Omar, I am really, really speechless, and I really cannot comment on tell anything, to be honest now. It's 70 episode, but this episode I'm completely speechless, and I believe that there are no words that will be above your words and above your story, the story of justice. I would like that we finish this crazy episode with messages to all the people that listening to you. What you're a professor from the University of Whisper. What are you teaching us? What are your takeaway messages?
Appreciation is not about the good things we have: house, food, water, plays, football, plays, whatever. Appreciation is more about the things we don't have. Appreciation is about the difficult things we go through, because it's what create us. It's what make us the people we are today, the resilient people we are today. That's the first message. The other message is I want to mention, highlight this unbreakable, adaptable younger generation who really deserve to lead this world right now, because the world leaders are old, usually white men. It's not working. It's too slow, too not working, too much not respecting human rights. It's about money rights. Everybody want to have money, economy, politics. It's not about human rights. I think this generation, the younger generation we have right now, has already gone through a lot of changes. The world is just changing every 2 3 years now. And this young generation is adopting and learning and enjoying the life. And you can see a lot of young leaders today who could be in power and sit for this old man. And even women, you can see more women who get now, they get the chance now in this new world to show how amazing they are. My mom, who saved my life, who saved the life of 1,000 people, smuggled 1,000 people outside of Syria when they attacked my village and killed a lot of people. My mom, who's a great leader. My Swedish mom, Eva, who took the responsibility to take me in and to give me a new home, a new family in the time when I needed that. My Swedish brother, William, Phyllis, Jacob, and everybody, Funny, and everybody there who took care of me. Those leaders, those deserve to be first, who can lead us, because they care about human rights, not only economy all the time. And that's important. This younger generation is more adaptable, and they are really unbreakable, unshakable people who could make this world different, beautiful, new, strong, full of real humanity. And my third takeaway message is to really follow the first two key messages.
Wow, wonderful, Omar. And I am thankful again for giving your time and sharing your story with us. Thank you so much again.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for listening to Urbanistica podcast. Please don't forget to follow Instagram and subscribe the YouTube channel for live talks. If you have any great story that makes our city smarter, contact me. I am Mustafa Sharif. Keep up the good work. Keep loving cities.